Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, there are some shows where I'm not sure if anybody's going to be interested in playing the map or maps that are reviewed on that particular day. And there are some shows where I think that people might be interested in one or the other of the maps on that particular day. Today is one of those rare days where I think both maps are going to have a fair degree of support. Today's first map is a creator we've done 4 times in the past, and we've got a whole bunch of their maps also on the to-do list. This is by far their best map so far seen on the show. And then we'll follow that one up with my first map, not my first map, but a map that is the first map of that creator, i.e. their first map, and it's a special one as well. But before we have a look at any special maps, we've got a daily reminder. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is Alexandria, Louisiana by icantthinkofaname. Please don't change that name. Just don't, okay? It's absolutely perfect. Anyway, there's your top-down view. There's your start square. That looks pretty playable to me. Highway interchanges, roads, side roads, power plant, water, all of it. Lots of flat land on today's map and lots of wetland as well, without it being too wet. Sometimes we see it being too wet. There's your resources, good and strong, so strong for a resource-minded game as well. Really like that layout. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, we've got anchovies in the lake, some salmon in the water, pretty much. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, there is a one-click collection with 30 items in it, which isn't the world's longest list. We'll be using the Stray Cats Territory Homecoming theme, the realistic 1.2 luck because nothing else is recommended. There is Tree Anarchy required as well for this particular map. And then if we scroll down through the one-click collection, we'll see a few bits and bobs down here, like some billboards. You don't need the billboards, but they add a little bit. Of course, the trees add so much life to the map, but there's some power lines there as well. Again, just for the full art, of course. If you don't have the power lines, it won't break your map. But why wouldn't you? You will need the freeways, though, because they are key, pretty much, I would say, to making the map work. Okay, down to ground level, we're right at the edge of the map here. We've got some very strong stands. Like I say, we've done I Can't Think of a Name 4 times in the past. All very recently, actually, is our first intersection. Intersection work on both maps today are very pleasing. Very, very pleasing. We've done I Can't Think of a Name in episodes 1493, 1500, 1523 and 1535, where they got a 10, a 10, an 11 and a 9, and there's nothing wrong with 9. 9 is the pass mark, so don't think, oh, they only got a 9. 9 is the pass mark, and you can get 3 high 9s. There's your billboards. Very nice. There's one on the other side of the road, tucked in amongst the trees as well. There as well. All good. Also tucked in the way in the trees, you can still see it from the road, so I have no problems there. But yeah, no, you can get like 3 high 9s, and that's as good as 3 low 4s, pretty much, don't you think? So yeah, as long as you're getting 9 stars, you're doing okay. 10 stars and above is where you're starting to fly, and 12 stars, well, then you are absolutely winning, and that's the target. If you can get 10 stars, you are definitely amongst the good creators. I'm not going to tell you what this map's going to get, but let's just say I don't think I Can't Think of a Name is going to be too disappointed with the overall scores. So anyway, yes, Louisiana, known to be a fairly flat, wet, damp kind of area, and I feel that this map kind of does that justice without really trying to make the marshy areas feel too unplayably marshy, because there is that sometimes can be a problem as well. Next intersection, the intersection works very nice. Okay, and we've got the big old lamps in the middle there as well to light it up at night. Won't be showing you the night view. If you want to see the night view, subscribe to the map, like it up, and switch the lights off yourself, okay? There's plenty of fun to be had switching on and off the day-night cycle. Anyway, Another very nice intersection going on. I mean, look at these intersections. They feel so American, but that's fine. It's an American map. It's supposed to feel American. If they didn't feel American, I would worry. I would. Just a little bit. Okay, well, shall we switch from the road to the rail? Because that's your start square area, sort of that area. And then rail, if we follow the rail is as you'd expect it to be, past everybody's favourite factory. There's also an essential lighthouse over there. Ah, isn't she lovely? I think that's been placed there mostly for my benefit. I can't imagine there being a lighthouse there in real life. So, thanks for that. Thank you so much. Anyway, yes, so what I feel with this map is the wetland areas, they're definable. They are definable, but they're not overly boggy. And sometimes we get maps, and I'm guilty of having done this as well, want to have a marshy area, so you just really go to town and make it super swampy. Here you can see the areas that are supposed to be swampy and marshy. You can see the like I say, the change of terrain here. Okay, it's painted with resources, but again, makes it a really good, strong resource area. But also, I can understand this is supposed to be a different sort of biome by the way that it works and interplays with the shapes of the river. So for me, it works. It's just, it's not done to that stupidly high level that you've got to have, like there's no change in between the rivers. Like the rivers here, you can see they're edged, and they're not gouged, but they're edged. They have a definable edge to them. And so, yeah, and it contains the river nicely as well. So there is always that as well. Power station down here with the power lines. So I mentioned the power lines earlier. Again, if you're not subscribed to them, these power lines won't be there. It'll be one less thing for your subscription list. But why would you not want them? Other than running a potato? Probably that would be a very good reason. But so, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Right, okay, let's have a little look at the behind the scenes stuff, like the shipping routes. Boom. Have we got shipping routes? I think we have, running the length of the river. Now, there aren't any suggested custom ships, so the vanilla ships will be running along here. And these bridges are all a little bit low for the vanilla ships. So if you're running this, advanced vehicle options, subscribe to a few different boats. That might be close to scraping there. That again, that's very low. So you're going to get a lot of shipping clipping going along here using the vanilla boats, which is probably, if anything, the map's biggest technical flaw. Also, it gets very narrow here. Again, for the river boats, probably okay along here. For the big old cruisers, they're not going to get stuck, but it's going to look a bit silly. Just remember that. Okay, now, is it a working river? Let's come down here, have a look for water flow in the start square. And we have water flow in the start square. That is flowing quite freely. It's fairly wide. It's moderately deep. It's not super deep. I would say that works quite well for that as well. So good. So we have all of the working bits and bobs and a map with lots of buildable space. I mean, loads of buildable space. And not really a map that tells you which way you need to build next. Look at the quality of the intersections. Yes, a map that doesn't tell you where you have to build next. The second map today is more kind of, this is a little bit of stop-start traffic there, possibly. Yeah, the second map today, it kind of tells you roughly how you're supposed to be. But here, you've got a free hand. You can use some common sense on how you use that free hand. Another very nice intersection here. Possibly begging for a little bit of stop-start traffic, but I like the design of this. I don't have a huge problem with it. But yes, if you get a bit of a traffic pile up on here, you might want to upgrade this to something a little bit more elevated. Ah, yes, there she is. We've seen her once. We're going to see her again. I came down this way for a reason, and that was to show you the factory, which we've already seen. Now down here, you look at this and you go, hang on, that river's, you should have some tunnels. Yeah, you should have some tunnels or something. That's there for the in-game detailer. Again, this sort of map, how many more things you need added to it is the thing, okay? Wetland areas, like I say, this just sells you that this is all wetland area down here, even though it's just resource painting, and we haven't gone really to town with reeds or mangrove trees. Speaking of trees, look at this tree. Look at it. Why am I showing you this tree and not any other tree? Well, I would show you one of the other trees, but you might find There's a little bit, it's not the loneliest tree. We had the loneliest tree, didn't we? Oh, I can't remember what episode that was. But this guy's out on his own a little bit. He's a lonely tree. Where are his friends? He's got some friends. There's some friends down here as well. One tree in the middle. It's not a problem. It's just made a talking point, and I like talking points, so it's all cool. Okay, down here, this is, yeah, I guess, slight tear in the terrain here as the road just lifts away from the other road. This is right back where we started. If you're looking for that, I can't think of a name. That's where we were. I'll show you that, so if you want to fix that, you can. It's deep in the fog. I'm not that bothered by it, but it is there. It is a tear in the terrain, and it's something I should show you. A ruined boot. Apparently they have ruined boots in America. Apparently it's more of a square boot, really, that one, isn't it? Anyway, what do you think of this first map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewers' Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top of the corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But remember to vote on the correct map. Remember to vote. That'd be nice. Okay, what do I think of Alexandria, Louisiana by I Can't Think of the Name? Well, aesthetically, I think it works quite nicely, actually. It's very green, it's very lush, it's totally believable. I can't see any reason not to give it a 4th star, so I'm going to do just that. I'm going to go right down the middle. 4 stars. It's for what it is. It's fine. It's good. Detailing, we've got a few niggly bits here and there, just niggly bits, not big disasters. Overall, the standards are pretty strong, and there's plenty going on as well, and I'm loving the shapes of the networks and the intersections, but I think we've got to go for the low end of 4 stars on this one. And for gameplay potential, it shouts play me, doesn't it? Shouts play me. It's going to please a lot of people as well, which is something to take into consideration. Not my personal sort of map to play on, but that doesn't stop me from giving it a very high 4 stars. Alexandria, Louisiana by I Can't Think of a Name. 12 stars there. That's your best score ever. And you know what? I think we probably should award it the BonBonB seal of approval, because I approve. Also, I'm going to like the second map today as well. More to my taste, the second map, so hang on in there, those that like my sort of map. And so with today's second map, this is based on some islands off the coast of India. And there's something almost fantastical about it without it being a fantasy map, and something a bit islandy about it without it being an island map. All of these things really sell true to me. It's also got a lot of playability built into it. I do have one major grumble. It's only a technical grumble, but it is still a grumble nonetheless, but it's still not a grumble that would stop me ever playing it. It's also...
It's my first map.
So there's that too. Today's second map is Konkan, vanilla map, The Heaven on Earth by gvete. Okay, gvete. Your loading screen thumbnail could do with some work, but other than that, it's still strong. Start square, very playable, mostly to the top side of the hills along the river there. That's where you want to get playing. Terrain heights, we've got definable areas. The map is broken up very nicely for definable areas, and I love it. Resources could be a little bit stronger, but even so, it still kind of works for me with the ore and oil big splashes that there are there. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, we've got a mix of most of the little fishies too. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a vanilla map, which means we only need network extensions 2 and tree anarchy. Yeah, well, we'll worry about 81 tiles. It does recommend a relight 2 natural as the LUT, and there is an optional theme mix as well, which we'll have a quick look at here. So the map will load fine without the theme mix, so you can still be called vanilla without this. This is fine. We're using the Australia Coast Seychelles theme, New Caledonia version 2 No Blue Sea theme, and it automatically loads with the relight average LUT, not the relight natural LUT, which is in the description. As it automatically loads as part of the theme mix with relight average, I've decided to stick with relight average for the review. So yes, Big old bridge. Everybody loves a big old bridge. There's one for the BonBonBingo players. Link is in the description, of course. Yes, so having vanilla map in the description is my one big bugbear with this map, because it's not. There is no question that you do need Network Extensions 2, although Network Extensions 2 is only really used in a couple of the intersections. It isn't part of the actual map layout. Also, notice the roads here. We're going to have a little bit of a jinky janky split here, just a little break there, which is a bit weird, and then the intersection doesn't quite line up. And again, the intersections are all very nice, but again, I feel that the way that the highways, it's the first map, but the way that the highways connect up with the intersections could be just a little bit more polished. Could be. Again, it's nothing that would stop me playing this at all. We also have another quite a hearty jinky janky going on right here as we approach this next intersection. And like I say, it seems to be a bit of a theme for... And again, it's not the worst, but before we get to some very nice intersections. Again, some of these have Network Extensions 2, not that one. And you can go, well, if I haven't got Network Extensions 2, technically speaking, the map would still work with without Network Extensions 2. Your roads would still get to the middle of your map. Or it's going to be, where are we? Oh yes, I just see all these arrows here. We saw this in the map a couple of days ago. I don't know if it's one of my settings maybe, because I'm seeing it a couple of times now. But it's easy fix. You just choose a node and just wiggle the node a little bit, and that fixes that. So yeah, it might be one of my settings, having seen it twice in a couple of days. But it is on that bend as well, so maybe it's me, maybe it's the map, I can't be sure. And there's also a little bit of terrain glitch as we enter the tunnel here as well. There are two of these on the map. I'll show the other one a little bit later on, but this is on the main routes. Again, it doesn't break the map, it's just and it's fairly easy to fix, but it is there, and it is a visual thing on loading. Right, we'll head over into the playable area. This is your start square area, and this is so nice. The fields are a good shape and good size in case you want to do the whole field buying thing, which is something that I'm a big fan of. And then we've got more intersections. Again, they're all interesting. They're all a little bit different. They all are very nicely polished as well. So I'm pretty happy with all that. And then you've just got one or two, like I say, jinky jankies on the highways leading up to a couple of them. Again, look at this one as well. Very nice. Very, very nice. But yes, without Network Extensions 2, I haven't tested it, but it used to be the case that without Network Extensions 2, a map would be broken if you didn't actually have Network Extensions 2 subscribed to. It is listed as a requirement, but it also says it's a vanilla map, so that might confuse a more inexperienced player who just basically doesn't read the description and just ends up wasting their time. You could blame them for that, but you can also blame Cvete just a little bit. Following the rail now, coming down past everybody's favourite factory. And anyway, the rail follows a good sensible route, and it's not uppy downy, and the standards are pretty reasonable as well. It's a map which has got pretty reasonable standards. One or two minor issues which we will have a look at when we start jumping about, because we do like to do a little bit of jumping about here and there. But all told, I'm just loving the shape of the map as well. This is a great location for a Cities Skylines build. I mean, these areas, they are just nicely defined by the shape of, you've got the water, you've got the hills, you've got the fields, you've got the shapes of the highways, which just make sense as well. I'm a huge fan of the shape of this map. Also over here, you've got the airport. So once you start building, you fill up this entire area, I would imagine. And then, if you still fancy continuing your city build, you've got the across the water there into these areas. I think this is a very nicely structured map for a city build in terms of gameplay. Big fan. Okay, if I'm going to have one grumble with the tree painting, it'd be these two islands here. This just feels tree spammed. There's no shape or structure to the trees on here. We've got a few deciduous style trees on the sand, very close to the salt water. And so, again, these feel a little bit like an afterthought, and maybe they were done at the end. I don't know. But the tree painting across the rest of the map is fine. There's some nice blending here and there, and the way that the trees have been used to accent the hills is very nice too. A couple of patches where there's a little bit of missing sand right at the shoreline, but the undersea sand painting's quite nice as well. I won't bother showing you that. And then we've got some good shapes of rivers, and like this lake here. It's a very nice shaped lake. Again, just breaks up the map a little bit, gives it a bit more of interest. And then that works into the river system that works down. You think this is a river down here it's merging into, but this is more like a strait. I mean, it's open at both ends. I think like in the middle of Japan, sort of. There we go. Open at both ends, and so there's no real water flow through there. Well, there is a little bit, I guess. But that's yeah, that's pretty neat. I'll show you this area. This area, because this is kind of a disinteresting area, but I'll show it to you anyway because it just shows you there are areas like with the beaches as well. You can do a nice beach build, tropical paradise build here as well. But yeah, so I thought I'd show you that just because all the rest of the map is so interesting. That area was okay, wasn't it? Loving the hills, loving the theme mix for the hills as well. Very striking, very bold as well. All good. The heaven on earth would describe it quite nicely. Okay, let's have a little look at shipping routes, because while we're here we can have a look at some shipping routes. Hang on, let me try that again. There we go. Right, so down here, shipping route just loops in and around the islands. There'll be constant flow of ships coming along here through the middle here. We've got a pillar in the middle there, probably a bit of ship scraping on that pillar. I would just lose that one if it was me. Simplest way there is, because sometimes when you delete a pillar it will reappear, just drop it down to 0 height so it's still there but its height is lower, and then it still exists but it doesn't show up, so non-visible. Gets a bit close again to that pillar, but it's not going to touch, so that's fine. Yeah, the shipping routes are good. I'm good with those. Right, after shipping routes, we have a look at the water. We'll have a little look at the water flow in the start square. Now, you may notice we've got some pipes down here already. That's fine, because the water flow in the start square, that strait is a little bit low. It's a bit shallow. There is a little bit of motion in there I detected by the naked eye, but if you're drawing a huge amount from here, it's going to struggle. So yes, I would make best use of the pre-built infrastructure that's in there, and water towers, of course. So, what do we think? This is good, and it's very striking. A few talking points. First of all, really like this. Positions of the street lamps here, interspersed. These could have easily clipped through the underside. We would have seen streetlight clipping, especially on this fairly low intersection. And it's not just here, there's over here as well. Notice the street lamps on either side. I mean, there are a few which are unavoidable when they do clip into, but just these areas show me that this has been built with due thought and attention, which is a positive. Got a little bit of catenary chaos going on here, just a little bit where it's sitting on the line, and there's a hint of the terrain breaking there. It's been squished a little bit hard, and a bit of blue mantle showing through there. Not easy to fix in vanilla. Vanilla. Okay, we have tiered farms as well. Not my favourite part of the map, but I appreciate what's been done here. I don't mind this. Okay, it's a bit different. I don't mind it. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. And it gives something just a little bit different running up to the wind turbines there as well. This area as well, I like the idea. I'm just not entirely sold on how it's been, well, finished. I'm guessing these are like trout lakes or something like that, or just like water purification or whatever. Yes, I see this as being drainage. That makes perfect sense to me, but it's just not quite like here, where you got the one network under the other. It's just breaking just a little bit there. So a little bit, yeah, just not quite polished, super polished. Now was this done by design? At first thought, I thought yes. Looking at this is quite clearly a custom bridge. There's no way this can't be a custom vanilla bridge, you know, with all the vanilla assets and just doing things over twice. Just a couple of reasons why I doubt it. First of all, the rail running alongside. First of all, let's have a little look from the roads. Look at. I believe this. Yeah. Right. Now, why? Why do I not believe it's deliberate? Well, we've got this one stray rail pillar here, which I don't fully understand being at that height there. But then I see the one over this side. We have a pillar clipping through the underside of the highway here at a higher point. And I think maybe this bridge was at the higher level first off and was dropped later, and then some sort of glitchy shenanigans have happened. Maybe. I'm not sure. All I know is there are some issues with that bridge, especially that pillar has to go. It does. I did promise you we'd show you the other one of these glitchy bits of terrain coming out of a tunnel. That one there, again, you get a little bit of blue mantle on the underside because of that. It's not going to affect the gameplay, and again, it's very quick and easy to fix. Yeah, so you've got the two glitchy bits. One's up there, the one I just shown you, the earlier one was here. So both just in the start square, both of them. A little bit frustrating. Look at that. Loving this little rocky river kind of idea. There's a lot of variation in the rocks, and that's very key to making these believable. Just one little patch along here on the right hand side, which just looks a little bit repetitive. Get the words out. English is hard, isn't it? Like here we got these four, these all jump out to me, and then you got these three, and these jump out. This little small spell there ruins, well, it doesn't ruin, detracts, there you go, better word, detracts from the river as a whole. As a whole, like everywhere else, I'm not seeing any repetition, and I buy into it. But that little area there just dragged me away from it a little bit. And it's the factory. Everybody's favourite factory. Oh, and if I remember rightly, we've also got some vehicles down here, which is slightly on the slope. Prop vehicles on the slope will just like merr with the slope a little bit. There you go, melting down the slope. Could have quite happily lived without those. I don't think they add anything. Even if it was flat, I don't think they really add too much in the location that they are there. But yeah, I mean, I've been very picky. I've been very, very picky. But I think the map sells itself. I think the map really does sell itself. But it's not what I think right now. This is your chance to tell me. What do you think of the map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But make sure you're voting on the right map, because there are two. Okay, what do I think of map number 2? Well, Konkan Vanilla Map, The Heaven on Earth by gvete. Aesthetically, it really grabs me. I think the theme mix is great. And again, I know vanilla, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's optional. And I think with it being optional, it's fine. Yeah, the aesthetics on this one are very nice. I'm going to go 4 stars. They go towards the lower end. It doesn't quite pop, but the overall design is very nice. Detailing, there's too many little things. I would push this up towards 4 stars, but there's too many little things. So I'm going to go towards the top end of 3 stars. But again, nothing that would stop me playing this anywhere near. Gameplay potential. Right, okay, you got the whole thing with vanilla map and network extensions too. I'm going with my heart on this one. And I'm going to call this middle 4. For me, it's a very playable map, but the name Vanilla Map, Konkan Vanilla Map, The Heaven on Earth by gvete, is misleading, but it does cover it very nicely in the description. So if you read the description, it gets a BonBonB seal of approval. If you don't read the description, then you don't get a BonBonB seal of approval. I would like to see the name change, please. If you're watching this gvete, just lose the word Vanilla Map from, or the words Vanilla Map from your title, and then nobody's got any grumbles. Really? The little things are just little things. I like little things like weekends. I love weekends. And there's one coming up right now. It is optional. I do like my options. One option that I have for you is using the word of the day in the comments to prove you're part of the 20 and now elite. One of that rare variety of people that get to the end of the show. And I'll be back with the chart show and more What Map on Monday. I'll I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.